With the start of the 2024 college football season coming in just a couple months, there's a lot of excitement about this year with the new NCAA game, the 12-team college football playoff expansion, and of course all of the college football realignment really being apparent this college football season. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some teams I believe are underrated heading into the 2024 college football season. And my basis for this are going to be their over-under projected win totals. So if you're a team that is projected 10.5 wins and you're expected to be a top 10 team in the nation, you're not going to be making the cut in this video. However, if you're a team that had a good year last year, bring back a lot of talent, yet are seen to be projected as a team that's going to fall off, there's a good chance you're going to end up in this video. Before I move on, remember to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Now let's get into it. The first team that I'm going to be talking about in today's video is Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State going into last season was not expected to be the best team out there, especially in the Big 12, as they were projected to go bowling. However, I'm pretty sure they were projected a line of 6.5 wins before the season, and they surpassed all of that, even after the weird 2-2 start, including a loss to South Alabama at home. They finished the 2023 campaign 10-4, number 16 in the final AP poll, in the Big 12 runner-ups after losing to Texas, and they finished the year off with a Texas Bowl win versus Texas A&M. Now, the current line for the Oklahoma State Cowboys heading into the 2024 campaign, it's not as high as you would think for a team that is returning some of the most production in all of college football. Basically every starter involved on the offense and defensive side of the ball. They may have lost a couple players, but they're bringing back literally everybody on the offense and the defense pretty much to a T. They're top 3 in returning production, yet the line is 7.5 wins. And, of course, they did just beat Oklahoma the previous season, but that's no longer going to be that little thorn in Mike Gundy's side that has been messing with them over the years, since he has lost to them more than he has beaten them, but he has had success with them the last few seasons. This should be a year where Oklahoma State's going to compete for a Big 12 title spot, and more importantly, not only compete to win the Big 12 title, but possibly be competing for one of those spots in the 12-team playoff. As you're returning everything on offense, you have the best running back in college football. If you're going to stay healthy, and they even brought in some good players in the portal, there's a good shot that Oklahoma State is going to be in the mix for a playoff spot if everything goes as you really expect it to be with that returning production and what they did last season. However, of course, weirder things have happened, but I feel like betting the over for the 7.5 wins is easy money. Moving on to the next team, I'm going to be talking about Boise State. Boise State is coming off a 2023 campaign in which they won the Mountain West Conference with a record of 8-6 overall on the season. They had kind of a weird year as well, similar to Oklahoma State, except I would argue even weirder, as they started 4-5. They were on pace for a losing season, but then they turned it around late in the month of November, winning 3 straight games, qualifying for the Mountain West Championship game, where they put on a dominant performance versus UNLV, winning 44-20, but did close the season off in the LA Bowl, in which they lost to UCLA 22-35, finishing with a record of 8-6. However, it seems like there is a lot of promise for Boise State heading in to 2024, as they do return some key positions like Ashton Jeanty, who's one of the best running backs in the nation, and he's coming back for Boise State, even though people did try to get him to enter the portal and go to their school. And they're bringing in a quarterback like Malachi Nelson, which, yes, we have yet to see play really any real college football snaps, but if you're going to base it on potential alone, there's a really good shot he's going to thrive there, and he's going to thrive in that offense. The current line right now, which is why I say they're kind of underrated, is at 8.5. Yes, they are the projected winners of the Mountain West Conference, and they even won it last year. However, I believe with their schedule, winning at least 8 games is very doable. I think they can have a 10-win season at that as well. I don't think they're going to go undefeated or be some team that may end up 11-1 and only scaving out one loss to potentially Oregon, which is a week 2 game that they play. But I do believe that Boise State is going to be better than that 8.5 line that they have. I believe that they're going to make the over. Coming back to the Big 12, I'm going to be talking about West Virginia. West Virginia is coming off a 2023 campaign in which they exceeded all expectations. A team that was expected to not make a bowl game and be a year where Neil Brown was projected to be fired. West Virginia instead went 9-4, including a bowl win versus North Carolina in the Duke's famous Mayo Bowl, and going 6-3 in conference play. Overall, a very good season for West Virginia, and a year that they really needed to get back on track. And what are they doing with the momentum that they have right now? They're bringing in, to me, a very underrated transfer portal class. They're returning the number 24 amount of returning production in college football, bringing back key starters on both sides of the ball. Yet their over win total for the season for 2024 is set at 6.5 by FanDuel. I believe that is a low line. I think West Virginia is going to pass that up. And I think they're a team that should be considered a dark horse for the Big 12. They're definitely not a favorite to win the conference and not a favorite to even make the conference championship game. However, I believe that West Virginia is going to at least be in the running and going to make some people have scares, as this is not only a team that can compete to be one of the top 5 teams in conference, but this is also a team that can potentially make your team not reach the conference championship game. Moving on to the next team, I want to talk about South Florida. South Florida is coming off a 2023 campaign where they went 7-6 in the first year of the Alex Golesh era, which exceeded all expectations. As for the last few seasons, USF has been a bottom dweller of the AAC conference. And now it seems like they have some momentum heading into the future as a program and have some positive vibes around the program, especially after not only a dominant showing in the Boca Raton Bowl versus Syracuse, but also having the number 1 recruiting class in the AAC in the class of 2024. Well, let's get back to the video points. Their projected win total is 7.5 wins. Now, I believe that USF has all the potential to not only compete for the AAC title, but to be a team that's not only going to be in that title game, but also have a shot at winning the title this season. I'm not saying they're going to 100% chance going to win the title, but they're going to have a good shot at that. They do have a couple hard non-conference games at Miami and at Alabama. However, I believe that this USF squad is not only underrated, but with the returning production that they have and the momentum they have in their program right now under Alex Golesh, I believe that 2024 could be a very special year for USF. The final team I'm going to be talking about in today's video is Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is coming off a 2023 campaign in which they went 7-6, closing the season off with a bowl win victory over UCF. Now, it's worth mentioning that this was the second year, really the first year as a full-time head coach for Georgia Tech in the Brent Keys era. Not only that, but the 2023 campaign was the first time they went to a bowl game and had a winning season since 2018, where they ended up losing the Quick Lane Bowl. However, going into 2024, the win total for them is set at 5.5. Personally, I believe that Georgia Tech is a team that can go bowling in 2024. I feel like they do have some positive momentum in the program under head coach Brent Key, who is now a coach that is 11-10 in his tenure at Georgia Tech, coming off a winning season. And overall, they had a pretty solid offense, and if they can improve things on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to be a team that's going to be in a lot of games and potentially win quite a bit as well. I will mention that they do have a tough schedule for 2024, in my opinion, as they do have some tough games where they have to play Florida State. I think Louisville on the road is going to be tough. North Carolina on the road is going to be tough. Notre Dame at home. That game at Virginia Tech can be tough. Miami can be a question mark at times, but they're going to be a ranked team heading into preseason likely. NC State's going to be a good squad, and their last game of the season will be at Georgia in Athens. They definitely have one of the tougher schedules, in my opinion, in the nation. However, I feel like Georgia Tech is kind of underrated with that 5.5 line, and I believe they're a team that can very well go bowling in 2024. Well, guys, if you made it this far in today's video, drop something down in the comment section below. Who do you believe are some underrated teams heading into 2024? And before you head out, remember to smash that like button, turn on those post notifications, and subscribe if you haven't already. B. Kelly out.